Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the House of Representatives votes to rescind billions in funds that help support, in part, public media like PBS. Also tonight, concerns over cuts to the nation's top cybersecurity agency, and a new two-line system brings changes to the Valley's light rail. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The House of Representatives today voted to rescind $9.4 billion in spending already approved by Congress, including funds for a variety of foreign aid programs and $1.1 billion from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which is the full amount that the CPB is slated to receive during the next 2 years. It was a narrow vote with 214 representatives in favor and 212 against. Arizona's Greg Stanton and Yasamin Ansari, both Democrats, both voted against the measure. The rest of Arizona's House delegation, all Republicans, voted in favor of the cuts. The rescission proposal now moves on to the Senate, where it is expected to be taken up next month after the Senate works on major tax and immigration bills. Today's House vote was of special note here at Arizona PBS, and to learn more about what the vote means and where we go from here, we're joined by the General Manager of Arizona PBS, Scott Wolfel. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Ted.
All right, Scott, let's talk about this. What exactly did the House do today?
This was the rescission measure that the Trump administration sent for voting earlier this year. And the whole idea was to rescind the funds, as you said in the intro, to both some foreign aid and everything the Corporation for Public Broadcasting gets. And so that money for Corporation for Public Broadcasting is what flows through, about 70% of that money flows through to all the stations across the country, all the public television stations, all the public radio stations, and provides, in our case, about $2 million a year in funding.
Yeah, and CPB is a private entity, correct?
It is a private corporation set up to be funded specifically by Congress.
And funded 2 years in advance because they kind of want to keep politics out of it. Good luck with that, huh?
That was the plan. And of course, the funds that are being rescinded or are trying to be rescinded now were just approved a few months ago, and that's for our upcoming next 2 fiscal years. There's still a battle to come in the fall about future funding beyond that, and we don't know what's going to happen with that.
What was the reasoning for taking back these funds? We'll stick with Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Yeah, I mean, the Trump administration basically is saying that federal taxpayer dollars should not be funding political opinion, which is how they view a lot of public media as being left-wing in some way, which of course we're not, and we can prove that on many levels. And so it really is an ideological measure.
How important, you mentioned how important it is to Arizona PBS, to public media in general. What's the hit?
It's a major hit. It's about 12% of our budget. So it's, I don't want to go without 12% of our budget. But in smaller stations in rural areas, it could be as much as 50% or more of their budgets. And so we will see stations, if this continues through and gets passed all the way through and signed into law, we will see stations go out of business across the country.
And what would be the impact on things like emergency alerts, educational programs, things that don't necessarily deal with news and public affairs?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people, I think, don't understand about public media. And just to take us for an example here, a fifth of our staff deals with education outreach to communities all over Arizona. They really don't touch any of the programming that you see on television, but they are stationed around the state in different communities, especially in our poorer communities and tribal areas, helping teachers to get certification and get more education, and working with children and families directly, as well as creating lesson plans for teachers.
And those emergency operations, that's a big deal in rural areas.
It is a big deal. So on the public safety side, our broadcast signal, we have 8 towers around the state, and through that broadcast signal, we can send emergency alerts to local first responders, and then even to citizens who can pick it up as well and online and in other places. And so it's everything from weather alerts, brush fires, missing persons. It covers a lot, about 200 per year, 300 per year.
Okay, so now we're on to the Senate here. What is the outlook? Simple majority for now in the Senate?
It is, because of the way this is presented, it is a simple majority vote. It's not subject to filibuster rules at this point. The Senate parliamentarian has said that the Senate must vote on this by July 18th. If not by then those privilege rules would run out and it would be subject to filibuster, at which point it would not go forward. But July 18th is the date.
And that's what, 45 days after the president initially put the rescission in front of Congress?
That's correct.
Okay, and so that's but they still got some major legislation to look at.
And a 4th of July recess coming up in about 2 weeks. And so it seems unlikely the Senate would take it up before July 7th, which is the return from the recess. So that would leave them 2 weeks or less to pass something.
Well, how likely we'll see some tinkering, again, especially when it comes to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Little tinkering here, little tinkering there.
Well, the House Rules Committee banned any amendments to this, so that could change in the Senate.
Yes.
And we might see amendments to strip, let's say, public broadcasting out completely and leave it foreign aid, or vice versa. We just don't know until it gets into the rules.
The grassroots lobbying effort, we've seen a lot of it here at the station. We've heard a lot of it around the country, actually. Where is it? What does today's vote mean to that effort?
You know, it's interesting. I was just looking before I sat down here. About 500,000 emails went to Congress over the last week alone in support of public media, and many thousands of phone calls as well. And I think that's why the vote was very close, and that 4 Republicans did vote no on it. The Senate's a different animal. It's, you know, we have 2 Democratic senators here. I've spoken to both of them. They both strongly support public media and will vote no on the bill. So it's going to come down to a handful of Republican senators in other states who may or may not support this.
Yeah. Scott Wolfel, again, Arizona PBS general manager on a day, and not the best of days for public media, huh?
No, but you got me to put a tie on, Ted. So.
That's it. It's a win for me.
That's right.
Good to see you.
You too.
Roughly a third of employees at the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency have left their jobs since the start of the year, and now as more job cuts loom, there are concerns about how all this could affect everything from U.S. security to technology that protects utilities and election systems. To learn more, we welcome Dr. Nadia Bliss, Executive Director of ASU's Global Security Initiative. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, what is that?
Okay, so CISA, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, is a component agency of the Department of Homeland Security. It's a reasonably new agency. It's been in existence since 2018. The precursor was set up in 2007. It does a lot of work on identifying, preventing, and mitigating cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. So critical infrastructure includes sectors like water systems, transportation systems, nuclear systems, supply chains, all of those things where sort of the cyber touches with the physical.
And this is the nation's top cybersecurity agency, correct?
It's especially in context of domestic cybersecurity.
Yes.
You can think about Cyber Command and the National Security Agency that look at it more from the Department of Defense national security perspective, but yes, from a federal perspective, CISA thinks about cybersecurity and infrastructure security for the United States homeland.
And so now we have a total workforce cut of about 1/3. What does that tell? Well, it's got to be of concern.
So as I mentioned in the beginning, when I was sort of describing the agency, this agency is reasonably new. The reason it was set up is that it's addressing emerging threats, and those threats are only accelerating. So I do not envision a slowdown of cybersecurity threats on our critical infrastructure. Even just this morning, I was watching the news getting ready, and they were talking about the cyber attack on the supply chain that's affecting supermarkets. So yes, it's definitely a challenging times in cybersecurity.
And it sounds like the president's budget has another 17% cut from this particular agency.
Well, you know, the budgets are still in the midst of discussions, but I do think this is an area that it is very important to prioritize federal investments. I also see it our nation adversaries, such as, for example, China, there's increasing attribution of attacks on critical infrastructure to the Chinese government. So especially in that context, it's very important that that agency is robust.
And we should note there are reports that all senior officials right now have left the agency, so that needs to have the impact on power grids, for example.
Yes.
What do we see here?
So here's the thing that's kind of challenging. Critical infrastructure is managed in a very heterogeneous manner and very distributed manner. A huge function of CISA is coordination, and it's set up with the proper incentive structures to really focus on mitigating the threats. So they're not worried about, losing market share. They're not worried about disclosing information that's going to affect the consumers. They manage specifically the protection of homeland infrastructure. So that is why it's incredibly important to have that coordination agency and to have that coordination function, especially for things like utilities.
Yeah, water utilities and power
Exactly.
grids and such. What about election systems?
Yeah, so a cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency has been exceptionally rigorous in protecting U.S. elections and mitigating. Basically, our elections have been secure, and there's been clear evidence from a computer science perspective. I'm a computer scientist. So that function is another very important function, especially as we consider the increasing rise of peer adversaries.
And you mentioned, the idea of China disrupting and other nations disrupting. I know the Trump administration has talked about disrupting them and taking taking command and being the aggressor. Well, that usually signals a response. We better be ready for the response. Are we ready for that response?
That is an incredibly important point, Ted. I am not inside the government, so I will not comment on whether or not we are ready. But I will say that at a moment when we're positioning for a potentially offensive cyber, it is incredibly important to have people in position to protect the homeland, because that retaliation is guaranteed.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. So, what kind of reaction are you hearing from, at least on Capitol Hill? What are leaders saying about that? Are they just sitting back and just watching this happen? What kind of response out there?
I have not talked to folks on Capitol Hill about this specific budget element, but I am getting a distinct sense that there is clear prioritization of cybersecurity, at least within the expert community. So the people that have been leading cybersecurity research and development, leading cybersecurity science and technology, leading implementation and deployment, and quite frankly, amazing people at Department of Homeland Security that have been leading these efforts. There is clear articulation that this is a really important capacity for the U.S. to have, especially in this particular moment in time.
Yeah, certainly something to watch out for. Nadia Bliss, again, ASU Global Security Initiative. Good information and good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a monumental tale, both epic and intimate. Aida, Ethiopia's princess, Radames, Egypt's warrior. Their countries are at war, but they're in love. And Amneris couldn't be more jealous. Thrilled to Angel Blue, Piotr Bachawa and Judith Kutashi, and Yannick Nézet-Séguin conducts when Verdi's grand opera spectacular, Aida, comes to great performances at the Met.
Friday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
Hello, I'm Scott Wolfelin. I want to thank all of you who have participated in the Protect My Public Media campaign over the last 3 months. There's more work to be done, though, and urgently so. The threat to funding of PBS stations like Arizona PBS has just been ratcheted up. The White House has sent a formal request to Congress to kill our funding for the upcoming fiscal year, funding that was already enacted by Congress and signed into law. Visit azpbs.org/mypublicmedia to learn how you can contact your representatives and make your voice heard.
Valley Metro recently began a new 2-line light rail system to go along with expansion into South Phoenix and the addition of a downtown Phoenix hub. And joining us now is Renata Klo. She's the Public Information Officer for Valley Metro. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. You all set?
Be here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Good to
All
be
right, so light rail is changing into a 2-line system. What does that mean?
It means that now we have added 5.5 miles of new tracks along South Central. And we had to, and they both our original line and the extension now converges in the downtown hub.
Okay.
And now we have two lines, one that runs east-west from Gilbert Road and Main to the downtown hub, and another that runs north-south from Metro Parkway to Baseline and Central.
Okay, so the north-south one is the B line.
Yes.
And the east-west one from Gilbert to downtown Phoenix is the A line.
Yes.
Why is this necessary?
Well, when we originally opened our 20 miles of tracks in 16 years ago, we didn't need to have more than one line. As our system has expanded and now we don't have just one single track going. Both lines now meet at the downtown hub.
And that's what I was going to ask. So both you got the downtown hub, which it's almost like the crisscross kind of. I guess more of a T than a plus. But I mean, that's where if you're going on the A line and you want to get to the B line, that's where you do it.
Yes, the downtown hub is one station with 4 platforms.
Whoa. Yes. All right. What's that all about? How does that work?
Okay, so if you're coming from the A line from Mesa and you want to take the B line, you're going to be dropped off at the downtown hub, Washington platform. And then if you want to go to the south, you're going to take the platform on First Avenue. And if you want to go north, you're going to take the platform on Central Avenue.
Okay, so in the old days, if you just kind of went east-west, and then you just make that little turn and you go north-south, no problem. But now, because of the options, you have different Is it relatively self-explanatory?
Yes, we have a lot of signage down there at the downtown hub. We also have our customer experience coordinators. They're helping out people and answering questions, and also our security guards. We have so much information online as well.
When you make the switch, do you have to tap your card or do your mobile scan and whatever you got to do there?
Yes. So if you're using mobile fare in the Valley Metro app, or if you have a reloadable copper card, you have to tap your card or scan mobile fare again. But if you bought a one-ride fare at the fare machine, that's valid for 2 hours.
For 2 hours. Interesting. Okay. So anything else change as far as fares are concerned?
No.
All right. So it's basically the same thing. You just got to get off if you want to go north.
Yeah.
It's not going to take you whoosh. What happens to that east-west? It just turns around and goes back to the east?
Well, there is a loop so that the train can do that.
Okay,
yes.
all right. I know it's not a big deal, but I'm kind of curious about that. Kids, older folks, reduced fare still in operation?
Yes, that is still an operation. You can either buy reduced fare at the fare machine, or you can apply for reduced fare and have a reduced fare copper card.
Real quickly, you mentioned the 4 platforms, and you've got to get off, and you got to go here, and you got to go there, and maybe wait for a little bit. I mean, is there shade? I mean, it's a tough time of the year to be outside for anything, especially for something like this. How's that working?
Yeah, our transfers are estimated to be about 5 minutes. There is shade, and we really are not expecting that much difference of time between the commute. We are also running trains more frequently now. Our weekdays from start of service until 7 p.m. we are running trains every 12 minutes as opposed to 15 minutes before we opened the extension.
The South Central extension, that was such a big deal, and everyone's so excited about it. Talk about the reaction.
I mean, we had a great celebration on Saturday. 5,000 people came to celebrate with us, and we are really excited to deliver this project to the South Phoenix community.
So what do we look for next with light rail? It's always changed. Something's always going on. What you got going on now? Or are you just going to sit back and enjoy for a while?
Yeah, no.
That doesn't work that way.
There is more for sure. I think this extension sets us up to keep extending. With we have 2 projects that are still in the beginning phases, but we do think that the South Central extension sets us up to extend to the CAPEX and the I-10 West project.
At State Capitol. Good luck with that one. That's going to be interesting to see.
Well, we just finished a round of public comments that we are going to take into consideration.
Yeah, like I said, that'll be very interesting, especially from a certain crowd. Vernada Klo, again, Valley Metro, congratulations on the new The new thing. That's great. 2 lines.
All right, thank you.
I was doing some shopping and got a pop-up on my laptop. Computer had a virus. So I called the number on the page, and the guy on the phone wants to take control of my screen to sort it out.
Recognize fraud sooner, so your money lives longer.
This is a tech support scam.
A Hospice of the Valley campus is helping provide care to those living with all stages of dementia. And tonight, as part of our monthly AARP-sponsored segment that highlights issues important to older adults in Arizona, we take a look at this new Dementia Care and Education campus. And we welcome Maribeth Gallagher. She's the Dementia Program Director for Hospice of the Valley. Maribeth, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, so happy to share the information for our
Well,
community.
let's get right to it. Dementia Care and Education campus. What exactly goes on here?
All right, so you know in Cheers, the place where everybody knows your name
Yes.
and all are welcome, and you walk in the door and everybody goes, Norm! That's what the Dementia Care and Education campus is for people living with dementia, for their families, for their friends, for the community to come and learn more about dementia, and where we provide services, a lot of which are free.
And we're talking all stages of dementia,
Yes,
correct?
every type of dementia in all stages. And you know, 50% of people will never receive a formal diagnosis of dementia. So those individuals can come too.
Wow. All right. So let's talk about the education itself. Describe. Are there support groups? Are there things going on? What's happening?
There are so many things going on. First, we know that one of the best ways, so what we're trying to do is shatter the stigma associated with dementia and propose that you can live well with dementia. But in order to do that, as Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better. So education is key. So we're providing supportive services for free for anybody who is a dementia care partner. And it's in Zoom and also in person. And we provide education and support and link to resources. We also have memory cafes. Do you know what those are?
I do not know what a memory cafe is.
Memory cafes are these places where people with dementia can come and have a blast and feel connected with others. And while they're doing that, these services are for free again. Their loved ones can also come to a support group because they need a sense of connection as well. We also have something called Gather, which I don't know if you've heard about yet.
Let's gather together. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a European model where people with MCI, mild cognitive impairment, meet to connect, to figure out, you know, just having the connection and education about moving forward. And oftentimes support groups have a facilitator, but people with mild cognitive impairment are just fine in doing it on their own. So we've just launched that.
So it's peer-led then?
It's just peer-to-peer.
Yeah. The Memory Cafe, does that allow caregivers maybe a little bit of a break too? I mean, is
Yes,
that
it
kind of
does.
part of that plan?
Yes, so, and so if they want, they can come to the support group because it's so vital for them not to feel isolated. But we also have probably, you would want to know about our Adult Day Club.
Sure.
So this is another place where people can come and spend the day singing, dancing, having conversations, and that really allows their partners to be able to leave them there and not feel guilty because they know the person's better for being there.
Right, and can you tell people are better for being there? Do they leave with bigger smiles on their faces?
As a matter of fact, we have on video people who have said, this saves my life. And I don't know if you know about the intergenerational portion of it, but we have a child care right next door.
Wow.
And so twice a day, the preschoolers go to visit the neighbors, the grandmas and the grandpas. And the kids are so happy to be seen and played with. And the people with dementia, they know the kids don't see dementia. They just see a person who lights up.
Oh, that's great. There's the Levine Home Inpatient Care Unit now.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Okay,
So this is under the umbrella of Hospice of the Valley. So I want to make sure people think, don't misperceive that they need to be dying or near end of life in order to have these services. This is for all of our community, right? But the Levine Home is an inpatient hospice unit that's for people with dementia. So it can be symptom management, or it can be a place perhaps where people come to spend their final days.
So is it well, it could be short-term acute care then?
It's
is that what we're talking
short-term
about there?
acute care, yes.
Yeah, and around-the-clock care, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
As well. Is there okay, you know, that's kind of at one end of the spectrum. What about in the middle toward like assisted living and these sorts of things? Is that offered?
Yeah, so we also have a small 12-bed assisted living home. And again, what we're trying to do is in every single way push the theory that you can live well with dementia. Why would a person with dementia want to get up in the morning? What brings them joy, meaning, purpose?
Do you have folks that go to this every day?
Do we have yeah, so people live in the assisted living.
No, but I mean, just to the campus itself, the overall campus. I mean, I would think that would be something you would look forward to and look forward to going to every chance you can get.
Yes, they do. They do. And this, remember, one of these buildings is an education building, right?
Yes.
Because education really is that key. You know, if I'm taking care of my mom and I really want to do this, but I don't know how to help her get in and out of bed, on and off the toilet, all those things. So we have a skills lab. Come in for free and we'll help you learn these things to keep you and the person safe.
How long has this been around?
We've been around since 2022 now.
Okay. All right. Last question, real quickly. Dementia care in general, is it evolving? Is it changing?
Thank God it is.
Yes. Well, you did make it nice and quick. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, Mary Beth Gallagher again, Dementia Program Manager, Hospice of the Valley. Where is this located?
This is located on North 44th Street, just south of Indian School. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Indianola, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got you. It's got the light right there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a light right there for you.
Mary Beth Gallagher, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.